Welcome to part 6 of our series of Mother of All Living, and we were looking at 2 Corinthians chapter 11 verses 3 and 4, where Paul is saying that just as the serpent beguiled Eve, alright, and deceived Eve, so he fears that you too might be beguiled, alright, by the simplicity that is in Mashiach. When you see Mashiach in flesh and blood coming out from the woman, alright, and being born in that simplicity, alright. So Paul says that that is how a person can be deceived, because if you don't believe in his divinity from where he came, then you are definitely not saved. Okay. This woman, now let's come back to the woman, alright. The woman who is the wife of the man, alright, was a helpmeet to her husband. Okay, if you read Genesis chapter 2 verses 20, the man gave names to all cattle and to the birds of the sky and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helper suitable for him. So the word for helper is, let me erase this. The word for helper is Azar. Okay, and it is written as Ain. This is the I. Okay. Zain, that is a weapon, and Resh. So Resh is the head. Okay. So Ain is the eye, right, which means see. Okay. Zain means weapon, which means cut. Okay, and Resh is the head. Okay. So Resh means the head. So see, the one who is cut out from the head, from the Resh, the one who is cut out from the Resh, the helpmeet, Azar. See, such beautiful emanations from the Abari language. Eve was taken out of Adam from his ribs. Alright, so she was cut out of man, separated, life from life. That's a picture. Genesis chapter 2 verses 21. So Yahuwah Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. Then he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh at that place. So the word for ribs is Salah. Right, it is written as Salah, which is Strong's H6763. Right, and the pictograph is of the sad. Okay, the man or someone on the side. Okay, Lamed. Okay, and Ain. See. So this is the side. SID is like someone on the side. Okay, towards. This is C. Okay. So, Sala, the rib, means someone from the sides, behold or see. That's the meaning of Sala. See the beautiful emanations from Elohim's word. From the side, cut out, behold, see. Azar is cut out. See, the one cut out from the Resh, that was the woman. And this shows that, see, the one on the side, alright, is the one who is Chawwa, or the woman, the wife. See, the one who's on the side. Okay, that's what it shows. And the root word in Salah is Sal. You can look up this also. Sal. Okay, which is Strong's H6738. Sal means shadow or image. Alright, so man, the woman was created in the image of man. Okay, and if you read, Adam was a type of Mashiach who was to come. If we read Romans chapter 5 verses 14, it says, nevertheless death reigned from Adam to Masha, even over them that had not sinned after the similitude of Adam's transgression, who is the figure of him that was to come. So the who is the figure is Adam, who is the figure of Mashiach who is to come. So Adam stood as a physical representative of Mashiach, Alright, the one from the earth, earthy, and one from the man from heaven. Alright, that is Mashiach. So with these truths, once we understand that Chawwa was taken from the Sala, that is the rib of Adam, and Adam was the figure of him that was to come, we can see the beautiful picture of the bride of Mashiach, of his flesh and of his bones besides him. Alright, yoked with him or towards him. So the bride is besides him, okay, at his right hand. The queen of gold in Ophir, there's a scripture which says, who is at his right hand. Okay, that's the heavenly Jerusalem, that is all the elect of Mashiach. So Elohim sees them as one, and that's why Genesis chapter 5 verses 2 records, and he created them male and female, and he blessed them and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. See the beautiful picture. Yahuwah Elohim created man and the woman from his side, and called their name as Adam, because Elohim sees the woman in the man, though she is separated from life, his life, alright, come out from his life, but she is at his side and from his side, his own being. That's the reason it says in Genesis 2:24, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. They shall be one flesh. So the woman Chawwa was the one besides Adam, her man, and one with him. She was yoked with him towards him. She was the type of heavenly Jerusalem, who is the mother of all living. Okay? So Genesis 3:20, and Adam called his wife's name Chawwa, because she was the mother of all living. That's what we read. Now another interesting word that I want to share with you is the word Ama. Okay, and this word is used for a bond woman. So Ama, and this is how it is written: Aleph, Mem, and He. Okay, the Am, which is the mother, is hidden or concealed in the Ama. Okay, the Ama means bond woman or handmaid. So various translations they translate. Some translate as bond woman, some as handmaid, some as female servant. Alright, and the Strong's number for Ama is H519. Okay, now it's very interesting to see when we read Galatians chapter 4. We see Paul speaking of two women as an allegory. Alright, and the one Ama, is Hagar. Okay, and she corresponds to children of flesh claiming inheritance, the false Yahudis, and the other one is Am, who is the spiritual, who is Jerusalem from above, the true spiritual Yahudis. If you read Galatians chapter 4 verses 22, for it is written that Abraham had two sons, one by the bondwoman, that is Ama, and one by the free woman. Alright, so translators mostly leave out the man. Before the bondwoman, alright, there is a word called man, Mem and Nen. Alright, and this is Strong's. You can look it up, H4480. So this man, alright, means kind of, or a species. You can look it up and see. So what is species? Species is like you categorize people into two buckets. For example, bucket A, so and so people, the vipers. Bucket B, the heavenly Jerusalem. Okay, so that is the picture. Alright, and all translations omit this word man, which is before the bondwoman and the free woman. Shalom, shalom. Let's continue in the next part. Shalom, welcome to part 7 of our series of Mother of All Living. We were on Galatians chapter 4 verses 22, which should be correctly written as, for it is written that Abraham had two sons, one by the species of the bond woman and one by the species of the free woman. All right, and if you read on, it says, but the son by the bondwoman was born according to the flesh, and the son by the free woman through the promise, which things are an allegory. Allegory means an example. Okay, for these women are two covenants. The one from Mount Sinai, which genders to slavery. She is Hagar. For this Hagar is Mount Sinai in Arabia and corresponds to the present Jerusalem, for she is in slavery with her children. Verse 26, but the Jerusalem above is free. She is the mother of us all. The Jerusalem, she is free, and who is she? The mother, the arm. The Hebrew word is arm. She is the mother of us all. Genesis 21:10. Therefore she said to Abraham, that is Sarai told Abraham, drive out this bondwoman, Amma, drive out this Amma and a son, for the son of this Amma shall not be an heir with my son Isaac. Alright, so drive out the bondwoman, because she will not, her seed will not be inherit the promised one's inheritance. She will not, her seed will not get any inheritance. So that's a picture. So you need to decide which bucket you want to be in. Alright, if you are in the carnal Safar, then you are with Hagar as a seed, with a carnal Jerusalem with her children, which are in bondage, as Galatians 4 says. And if you are believing in Mashiach, and you see the Ruach in the letter, and you obey the Torah of life, so then you are from the mother of us all, which is heavenly Jerusalem from above. Okay, now what's interesting to see is that this woman was cut out from him, yoked with him, and towards his side. Alright, this picture, when you see, when they pierced Yahusha's side, alright, out of his side flowed blood and water. Okay, John chapter 19 verse 34 says, but one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and instantly blood and water came out. John chapter 19 verse 37 says, and again another scripture says, they shall look on him whom they pierced. So if you read Zechariah chapter 12 verses 10, this is Yahuwah himself saying, and I shall pour on the house of Dawood and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of favor and praise, and they shall look on me whom they pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourns for his only son, and they shall be in bitterness over him as a bitterness over the firstborn. Alright, so here Yahuwah himself is saying that they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. And when they pierced Yahusha, the scripture was fulfilled, because out of his side flowed water and blood. Okay, now see this interesting. 1 John chapter 5 verses 5. Who is the one who overcomes the world? But he who believes that Yahusha is the son of Elohim. This is the one that came by water and blood. Yahusha Mashiach, not by water, but by water and blood. And it is the Spirit who bears witness, because the Spirit is truth. Alright? So what is this water and blood? Have you seen a womb? Alright? Water and blood are the components of the womb. Alright? In which a child is nourished for 9 months. Alright? The child is within the warmth of that womb, surrounded by a bag filled with water and blood. Alright? So that's the reason Paul is saying that, as Eve was deceived by the serpent, alright, I fear that, you too will be deceived when you see the simplicity of Mashiach, because he took that path in coming, to deliver the woman by childbearing. Alright, he is the redeemer of that woman. Alright, he left his fatherhood and Mother Jerusalem, and he came to be one with us, right? To fill us with the Ruach, to save us in childbearing. So what a wonderful picture we see, that the Mashiach, who is Yahuwah, who was her husband, alright, came through her womb figuratively, saving her in childbearing. Alright, Hosea chapter 2 verses 16 and 17. And it shall be in that day, declares Yahuwah, that you shall call me, you shall call me Ash. Alright, the word is H, Strong's H376. Alright, we already saw this. Ash, right, which means husband. Alright, husband. And remember, I told you the root word is ash, alright, which is the same root word in Asha, which means the burnt offering, the fire in the burnt offering, ascending up. Alright, so here Yahuwah is saying, and it shall be in that day, declares Yahuwah, that you shall call me Ash, and shall no longer call me Bali, for I shall remove the names of the Baals from her mouth, so that they shall be mentioned by their names no more. Alright, so the word we saw above, right, which is Ama, which is here, Ama, okay, also means cubit. Do you know what is a cubit? Cubit was a measurement used in the Old Testament when they built the temple or built anything. The word for cubit is Ama, and the Hekel, that is a temple when they were built, the Mishkan, that is the tabernacle when they built. So they calculated in a measure called cubit, which is Ama. Okay, so how beautiful picture that Yahuwah uses. Alright, the physical temple. The physical temple is calculated in, say, like the measurement. For example, whatever measurement is there, say it is cubit, which is Ama. Okay, and the physical temple, alright, represents the spiritual, which is within. Alright, the outside is the safar, what you can see with your eyes, the physical temple. But the spiritual temple is the letter, the ruach in that letter. Okay, so you need to go beyond the Ama to see the Am, the mother. Okay, so that's a beautiful picture, and the beautiful picture seen by the words, whereas the bondwoman, alright, she's trying to measure up. She's trying to measure up with Mashiach, but she falls short. She's seeking inheritance, but she'll never attain that inheritance. So you need to go beyond the letter into the ruach if you are a promised seed of Elohim. Alright, that's the picture. And all those, following the carnal Torah of Kata and Mut, alright, are trampling the outer court because they are only seeing the physical. They are seeing the physical measurements. Genesis 6, let me see, okay. Genesis chapter 6 verses 15. This is how you shall make it. Now this is talking about the ark. Alright, Yahuwah is about to destroy this world with the flood, and he's telling Noah that this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark 300 cubits. The word cubits is Ama, which is H520. Right? This is H520. You can look it up. Okay. Its length of the length of the ark 300 cubits Ama. Its breadth 50 cubits Ama, and its height 30 cubits Ama. So Ama was a measurement used in the Old Testament. And the ark, which was prepared to save Noah and his family, which was physically salvation, alright? Salvation from the flood, physical, pointing to the spiritual. Remember, Yahusha said, as in the days of Noah, so it shall be in the days of the Son of Man. Okay, who's the Son of Man? Yahusha himself, because he became the son of Adam for our sake, came from that same womb with water and blood. And the Spirit is testifying this, and we know that the testimony of the Ruach is truth. Right? And your mind shouldn't be corrupted when you see the simplicity of Mashiach and see from where he came. Okay? So those who belong to the Ama, bondwoman with a seed, get carried away with the beauty of the letter. They only see the letter. They do not see the spirit in that letter. Shalom, shalom. Let's continue in the next part. Shalom. Welcome to part 8 of our series of Mother of All Living. Alright, we were looking at the bondwoman, okay, and her seed. So this bondwoman seed will be carried away by the flood. They will be completely destroyed, okay, and by the flood of the false Basara, which the dragon spews out of his mouth. Alright, if you read Revelation chapter 12 verses 15 and 16, there's something very interesting written over there. I'll read it out for you. It says, and the serpent poured water like a river out of his mouth after the woman, so that he might cause her to be swept away with the flood. But the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened its mouth and drank up the river which the dragon cast out of his mouth. So the purpose of Shaitan, the dragon, was to, carry away the woman, that is the elect, by his false basara, by the flood. Okay, but the earth helped the woman. All right, this bond woman and her seed. All right, they helped by, consuming that false basara into themselves, and the woman is safe. The heavenly Jerusalem, the elect, her seed is completely safe from the face of the serpent. What a beautiful picture, and imagery in Elohim's word. So it is also interesting. Remember, I told you in Galatians, and we came to Genesis chapter 3 verses 19. All right, where Yahuwah tells Adam, right? He says that in the sweat of your face you shall till the ground, and for out of the ground you were taken, and dust you are, and unto dust you shall return. All right, so I'll read out that verse. Galatians 3:19. In the sweat of thy face shall you eat bread till you return unto the ground, for out of it you are taken. For dust you are, and unto dust you shall return. The word for ground is H127. Okay, and it is Adama. Right? It is the Aleph, Dalet, Mem, and He. Now watch the root words. Such an amazing word. Alright, if you just read it, Adama, right? Adam. Right? So Adam is there in it. So in the ground, who's there? Adam. Okay. So let's list down Adam. Okay. Dam. Dam is blood. Okay. Ma. Ma is the sea or waters. Okay. So Adam, the word Adama, which is H127. See how beautiful picture it shows. The emanations. It has got the blood. It has got the waters. It has got Adam. And it has got the Ama. A-M-A. Can you see this? These are the root words. Ama. So that's the reason scripture says that the first man was of the earth, Adi. So this Ama, the bond woman, is tied up to the man Adam, which is Adi, which are physical representatives of the spiritual, and they are made of blood and water. And that's how Yahusha came. Alright? He came as the son of Adam. Okay? And to make us Ama, the bond woman, to save us in our childbearing, by bringing forth Mashiach likeness. And he came with blood and water in the womb. Such a beautiful picture in just one word. Okay? I'll read a few scriptures. 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verses 45. So also it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was a quickening spirit, quickening ruach. The first man was a living soul, and the last Adam was a quickening spirit. Last Adam is Mashiach. Verse 46. However, that was not first which is spiritual, but which is natural, and afterwards that which is spiritual. So first the natural, the earthy man came. Alright? Pointing out to Mashiach, as we read in Romans chapter 5 verses 14. Like Adam was a type and a figure of him who was to come, that is Mashiach. Verse 47. The first man, Adam, was of the earth, that is Adama, earthy. The second man, Adam, alright, was the master from heaven, is Mashiach. So as verse 48, as is the earthy, so also are those who are earthy, and as is the heavenly, so also are those that are heavenly. Verse 49, just as we have borne the image, the word for image is salam. Alright, just as we have borne the image of the earthy, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. We saw the word sal, remember? The rib sala, from the word sal means shadow, so or image. So just as we have borne the image of the earthy, the carnal, the fleshly, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly. Such a beautiful picture. Alright? So let's move on. So the second man, that is Yahushua HaMashiach, right? He is the second man, that is Adam, who came by water and blood, that is in the womb. And hence we are flesh of his flesh and bone of his bones, as we read in Ephesians chapter 5. Alright? But his existence is from everlasting, as the Elohim of the heavens and of the earth. And hence we need to go beyond the veil of his flesh into the Ruach. Alright? Hebrews chapter 10 verses 19 and 20. Sorry. It says, so brothers, having boldness to enter into the set apart place by the blood of Yahusha, by a new and living way, which he instituted for us through the veil that is his flesh. So we enter through the veil of his flesh to be one Ruach with him. Now look at these verses, 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verses 16 and 17. Or do you not know that he who is joined to a whore is one body? For he says, the two shall become one flesh. And he who is joined to the master is one spirit. So see how the transformation happens. Alright? That Yahusha takes the path of being born as the son of Adam. Alright? Out of the blood and the waters. That is the womb. Okay? To save the Amma, that is us, who are in bondage, not the bond woman, to set her free by childbearing. Okay? So, to set her free, so what he does, he joins with us as flesh of his flesh and bones of his bones. And he transforms us into the Ruach, to be one spirit with him. So he takes us from the flesh into the Ruach, beyond the veil of his flesh. Such a beautiful picture, because that's where he came from. Right? So that's how you need to go through the veil. Behind the veil is the most set apart place. And the veil was torn into two when he hung on the stake. Alright, so being in Yahusha, we become of his flesh and of his bones. And he transforms us into being one Ruach with him. While the bondwoman, alright, who does not see this and is occupied in the carnal letter, alright, is in carnal measurements trampling the outer court. They are only seeing the letter trampling the outer court. Alright? So they wouldn't be able to see beyond the letter. So it's no coincidence that the word for artisan is amun, which has am in it. Right? So if you read Jeremiah chapter 52 verses 15, it says, then Nebuzaradan, the captain of the guard, carried away into exile some of the poor of the people, the rest of the people who are left in the city, the deserters who had deserted to the king of Babylon, and the rest of the artisans. Now the rest of the artisans, the word for artisans is Amun. Amun. Right? It has got the Am in it. Okay? So, mother of the seed. Nun is the seed. Nun is the seed. Okay? So now, what are the artisans doing? Which artisans is Jeremiah talking about? Jeremiah talking about? He's talking about the artisans who were used skillfully by the king to build the temple. Alright? So they used the chisels, they would make the pillars, they would make various crafts in the temple. Shalom, shalom. Let's continue in the next part. Shalom, welcome to part 9 of our series of Mother of All Living, and we were looking at the word Amun. Amun, which means artisans. So the artisans were the ones who worked in the temple in repairing it, in maintaining it. The same word Amun is also a pagan deity, worshipped by Egypt. And who are Egypt? Mitzrayites. We saw in Genesis chapter 10, I believe, where they were the children of Ham. All right. If you could also read Psalms 105 verse 27, they showed his signs among them and wonders in the land of Ham. So Egypt is called land of Ham because Ham was the father, okay, and Ham was the son of Noah, and from him came the Mitzrayites, that is the Egyptians. So Ham's seed was accursed for revealing the nakedness of his father, and the picture here is of an artisan, that is an Amun, alright, he's building a false deity, okay, and those doing this are the seed of the woman who brought forth vipers. Okay? Because they are in the outward carnal letter. They are not able to see the spirit in the letter. So the woman from above is called the pillar and ground of truth. She measures up to Mashiach by His grace. Alright? Like I said, the fire, alright, the burnt offering. 1 Timothy chapter 3 verses 15. But if I tarry long, so that you should know how you ought to behave yourself in the house of Elohim, which is the assembly of the living Elohim, the pillar and ground of truth. Alright, so this woman is the pillar and ground of truth. The word for truth is Amat. Amat again has got the arm in it. Alright, so see a beautiful picture. The arm is hidden in the truth. Okay, and the arm is in the pillar. Okay, that word for pillar is again in the temple is, the arm is hidden in that. And the word is Amana. Okay, I'll show you an example. 2 Kings 18 verses 16. And at that time, Chazakyahu, that is Hezekiah, cut off the doors of the temple of Yahuwah and the pillars, which is Amana, which Chazakyahu, king of Yehuda, had overlaid and gave it to the king of Assyria. So we see the word Amana, alright, the arm is hidden in that. Now see the beautiful picture, okay. Now if you see Amat, the word Amat, okay, the word Amat has got the arm in it, okay, which is the mother. But does the word Amat have Amma in it? No. The bondwoman. The bondwoman cannot be in the truth. Okay? See how Abari words are used. But when you read the word Amana, alright, which is Amana, which means pillar, okay, the arm is there in it and the Amma is also there in it. Okay? So, looking at a physical pillar, okay, pointing to the spiritual pillar, the heavenly Jerusalem, the pillar of ground of truth, right? The assembly of Elohim is the pillar and ground of truth. That's what Paul is saying. So, see what a beautiful language the Abba's language is, where the words reveal what is concealed and hidden in it. Okay, so like I said, Amat is Aleph, Mem, and Tau. Okay, this will make sense to you. Aleph, Mem, and Tau. Alright, this is the arm, but there is no Amma in it. Okay, Amana is Aleph, Mem, Nun, and He. It has got both the Am and the Amma. You see Amma, the root word in Amana. So the physical pillar, say this is a pillar, so you can see the physical pillar of a building. Okay, say this is a building standing on pillar. So you can see the physical pillars, alright, pointing to the spiritual pillar, which is the arm, the mother, alright, the pillar and ground of truth. Okay, such beautiful language. So let's move on. There is one more word, like faith. The word for faith is Aman. Aman. Again, Am is rooted in it. Man. Alright, this is the seed. None. So the seed is sprouting out from the arm. That is faith, believing, childbearing. Alright? Mashiach, when you believe in Mashiach, alright, that he came by water and blood through the womb, alright, the heavenly, the Elohim of the heavens and the earth took the form of man and came forth. That is faith, that is belief. Alright, and you're saved by that faith. Alright, if you don't believe in that way, then you're not saved. So see the beautiful emanations from the language. Okay? In Deuteronomy chapter 32 verses 4. The rock, his work is perfect, for all his ways are just, and of faithfulness and without injustice. Righteous and upright is he. Now we spoke about faith, Aman, alright? Can you see the Ama in it? No. You don't see the bondwoman in Aman. But the moment you say faithfulness, alright, that is Amuna. Alright? This is the word. You have both the Am and the Ama. Can you see this? H, Am, Ha. The root words in it. So, faithfulness, alright, when you see the faithfulness of a wife in a physical realm, alright, towards a husband, pointing to the spiritual faithfulness of the elect of Yahusha, who is his bride, towards her husband, which is Yahusha. See how deep the language is. Aman, the bondwoman can never be in Aman because she is carnal. Her seed is carnal, occupied with the carnal letter. Okay, so they cannot have faith in them. So the moment you say Amuna, alright, the faithfulness, it talks about the carnal, woman besides a man and her relationship with a man, pointing to the spiritual. So that's the picture given over here. So Aman does not have the Ama because the bondwoman cannot have faith in her. Alright, if the moment she has faith in her, she's saved. Because faith means the Aman, the Am has to believe that the son came out from her, from the in childbearing she's saved. So that's Aman, that is faith. 1 Chronicles chapter 16 verse 36. Blessed be Yahuwah, the Al of Yasharel, from everlasting even to everlasting. Then all the people said Aman and praised Yahuwah. Right, that's the word Aman over there. Okay. So the woman from above is towards her man and yoked with him and radiates the light of her husband from her, while the woman who only takes his name falls short, and she and her seed has no, faith in them. So they don't have any faith in them. Alright, the bondwoman. Galatians 2:20. I have been impaled with Mashiach, and it is no longer I who live, but Mashiach lives in me, and the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of Elohim, who loved me and gave himself up for me. Right, the word Aman is used over there as well. Okay. Genesis 3:16. To the woman he said, I shall greatly multiply your pain in childbirth. In pain you shall bring forth children, yet your desire shall be towards your husband, and he shall rule over you. Alright, so it's like a woman. It's not a carnal thing which Yahuwah is saying that a picture would come of a woman in a labor room, giving birth to a child and in pains. So that is not the carnal language that Yahuwah uses in his word, but he uses the physical to show the spiritual, alright, which is the woman traveling in birth. Shalom, shalom. Let's continue the next part. Shalom, welcome to part 10, which is the final part of a series of the mother of all living. Alright, and we were looking at different words, Aman, Amat, Amuna, alright, where Amat and Aman does not have the Ama in it, because Ama is a bondwoman. She cannot have faith, alright, she cannot be in truth, alright, but she is can be seen in the physical examples of a pillar and in various things. So the promise of Elohim can be seen even in the curse, because he says to the woman that her desire shall be for a husband and he shall rule over her. The woman from above is towards her Mashiach and radiates his Amat, that is the truth, alright, radiates his faithfulness, the Amuna, radiates his faith, the belief, Aman, radiates his craftsmanship, that is Amun, and his measure, Ama. Right, so beautiful picture of the woman who radiates the life from life, and she is testifying of that life from where she was brought forth from. Alright, Psalms 87 verses 5, but of Zion it shall be said, this one and that man were born in her, and the Most High himself shall establish her. Yahuwah shall continue when he registers the people. This one was born there, Selah. And the singers, the players of the pipe, all my springs are in you. Alright? All my springs are in the New Jerusalem from above. Speaking of Mashiach, in Psalms 45 verses 9, alright, it's spoken about the queen of gold in Ophir. So the gold of Ophir was used to build the temple of Yahuwah by Solomon. Okay, if you read Psalms 45 verses 9, king's daughters were among your honorable women. Upon your right hand stands the queen in gold of Ophir. Upon your right hand stands the queen of gold of Ophir. So the heavenly Jerusalem is on the right hand of Mashiach. Alright. Then, okay, I'll read a few scriptures. 1 Kings 9:28, and they came to Ophir and fetched from thence gold 420 talents and brought it to King Solomon. So this is a proof that he used the gold of Ophir. And Psalm says that on your right hand is the queen from the gold of Ophir. So the physical temple was all by gold by Solomon. So the physical pointed to the spiritual temple, where in Yahusha, alright, the bride has become one with him. Marriage supper of the Lamb. Alright, John Yahukanan saw the heavenly Jerusalem, alright, the mother of us all, coming down out of heaven. And that's such a beautiful picture, the bride of the Lamb, okay, who is one with him, who testifies of the life of his side, where she was taken out from and saved in childbearing. Okay, if you go on, the imagery is so beautiful that we understand why Yahusha called his mother woman. Alright? He never called his mother Maryam, that is Mary, as mother. He always called her as woman. Example, John chapter 2 verses 3. When the wine ran out, the mother of Yahusha said to him, they have no wine. And Yahusha said to her, woman, that is Asha, what have I to do with you? My hour is not yet come. So you see here how the spiritual is hidden in the letter. Right? So he called her as a woman because physically Mary brought forth Yahusha from a womb by water and blood. Okay, she brought forth Yahusha, but was she his mother? She was saved in childbearing physically. If you see, the spiritual meaning in that, just as Eve. So that's the reason it's pointing out to the Asha, that is, the Garden of Eden, the woman, where Adam called her as woman, Asha. Okay, such a beautiful picture over here. So the spiritual is hidden in the natural. Here was Mashiach come from the woman to save her in childbearing and calls her woman. Hence, we see both the words Am and the Asha to show us the spiritual reality and the fulfillment of the promise. Okay. There is one more scripture that I would like to read, which is very interesting, and this will be the final part of this study. John chapter 2 verses 10. And said to him, every man serves the good wine first, and when the men have well drunk, then that serves which is worse. But you have kept the good wine until now. Okay. Now let me erase this. I'll show you something very interesting. So in Cana of Galilee, Yahusha went for a wedding feast. Okay. And that's where his mother told him that they are finished off with the wine. And he calls a woman, my hour is not yet come. So he calls her as woman. Okay. And she tells the servants, do as he says, and he converts the water into wine. Okay. When the wine is taken to the master of the wedding, alright, he sips the wine and he says that, why have you kept the good wine till here? Alright. Because in a wedding, every man serves the good wine first and then the old wine, that which is worse. The word for worse there is Hagaru, alright, Hagaru, and it has the root word which is H7451, which is Ra, alright. It is written as Resh, this is the Resh, the head, and the Ain, right, Ra, and the word there is Hagaru, alright. If you see, add He and Hagaru, and the U at the end. Okay, Hagaru. Can you see Hagar? Can you see Hagar in that old wine? The one which is worse. Who was Hagar? The Amma, the bondwoman, was cast out from the seed, with her seed, away from the inheritance. So see how beautiful the language is. If you see and see the emanations, alright, people would only say, a person who knows the Hebrew language, Abari language, you would just look at the word Ra and discount it as, okay, Ra means bad. So H745 says Ra is bad. Okay, but Yahuwah uses the word Hagaru. Alright, there you see the word Hagar. Hagar was the bondwoman. Alright, the slave, the bondwoman of Abraham. She and her son Ishmael were cast out. We already saw that. See the beautiful picture. She's sitting in the old wine, which was in the previous, the letter, alright, the carnal letter. She's sitting in that, and people are not able to discern, you know, and they like the old wine, and they are happy being drunk of her and giving forth children of vipers. Alright, so my prayer to Yahuwah is that everyone, you know, understand who the mother of all living is, and be a part of her, and be saved in childbearing, and believe that Yahusha, alright, came forth to save the woman in childbearing. Shalom, shalom.